Hi. So here's Amber's mask tutorial. I will be switching to this mask. So, yeah. Hello. So, yes. I'm going to be making a mask tutorial. I'm going to be doing, I love Amber so much. She is my love. She is my child. However, you can't see her mouth. You can't see my mouth. And I like her. But I also really want another mask for a different stereotype that I have. So we're going to be doing a Norwegian forest cat. Picture insert here. Wow. I actually still need to look up a picture, but that's fine. So I'm gonna be making a mask tutorial for that, but it sort of has all like the basics included. So here you go. Anyone who needs a tutorial, your materials will include cat mask base. Then of course there's hot glue, which is very important. Scissors, you're gonna need a lot of that. Preferably an image, so get your computer or your phone. Little painty dish thingy. Ignore how messy that is, I just failed to clean it. If you want floppier ears, then like craft foam. I use like, I'm forgetting the name of this fabric, but this, because it's easier than felt for me. I just use dollar store paint, being honest. I think this is from Michael's. I think this is also from Michael's. Get your cheap paint and old stained paintbrush. Oh, also, most important thing, cardboard. Get that cardboard. You gotta be stocking up on this stuff. And then I might use these, my markers. Oh, and then fake fur. Fake fur is usually useful. But it's all the way across my room and I don't want to get it. So yeah. I guess we'll get right into it. Open, please. Please? No? Okay, that's fine. Alright, first step. Get a reference picture. You're gonna need one if you want to get it looking like the breed of animal that you want. And so mine is a Norwegian forest cat. And you're just gonna want to start with the reference image. Then the second step is you're gonna want to take the cat mask and a marker. I chose a Sharpie. And you're gonna want to look at your reference photo and mark out all of the like little subtractions or the inserts that you're gonna make on the mask. You might even want to like just do some rough designs on what kind of patterns that you're gonna do, because it's fun. It's also easier to do it, the pattern, once you have a rough idea of what you want to do for your patterns. Personally, I do that, but you're gonna want to take off the ears, because spooky ears. I just go like that, make a little thing like that, and I usually like to take off the little cornery sides. I usually like to round that out a little bit, and I like to take off a little bit of this down here as well. And you're just going to sort of want to make adjustments as see fit with your animal. Then once you have all of the little lines that you want to cut off, like this and the ears, and then a little bit of the eyes, then you can start cutting away with your scissors and just cut out all those sections. Oh, also, so if you're ever stuck and can't get little bits like around the eyes, and you can't get them to like be good, then just like use a little water and just wet it a little bit so that it like softens. And it'll be like moldable like that. So yeah, yippee! Alright, now that you've got everything cut out and you have your mask base, sort of, you're gonna want to take your scissors and cut that elastic off because that stuff is crap and you're gonna need something better, unless you don't want something better and you're just fine with it flopping around. I don't know. I don't judge. But yeah, I take it off. It's annoying. Boom. Currently I don't have a replacement for that, so I guess I'll buy it later. Who knows? Now we're gonna fill in all the little spaces with the mentioned cardboard. You're gonna wanna put this on that, like that, like that, and you're gonna just trace on the cardboard the shape of this so that you have an exact shape of how to get the thing. You know, it's like super smart. I know, I'm just like so big brain. And any other place like on the eyes, I'm gonna do a little bit right there because I don't like the shape of the eyes because they're too long. And I want them to be like that shape so that it matches the shape of the eye on the cat. I'm pointing to the cat. So essentially it's like this. You take that and you lay it flat and then you trace it. Woo. Don't move it around like that. And then just connect it. So, oh, also another note, you're gonna want a scrap pile because it can get pretty messy, especially if you're stupid and on your bed like me and you don't want to be like sleeping on cardboard and faux fur crumbs. Yeah, but once you have your cardboard cutouts, you're gonna want to, well, you should probably preheat your hot glue gun before this, but I'm dumb. So, use your hot glue gun and glue them in. Yeah. Alright, once you've patched everything up, I've patched up the eyes and the ears, then make final adjustments. I sort of noticed that the cat is a little bit more slim on the cheeks rather than the wider cheeks, so I'm gonna change that, and I might trim just up a little bit here so that it's less like it's more like circular up here. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good start. Now that you're done with basic subtracting and adding, we're gonna see more about like structure. So as you can see, the shape of the cat mask is very much like sort of like a human nose, where it goes very outwards. And I know this is sort of like literally your nose, but if we wanted to make it more look like a cat, you can put a piece of cardboard right here to flatten that out, and you essentially just take a piece of cardboard and cut out sort of like a long strip. And then if you want to make it sort of like more seamless, I would say you're going to want to take sort of like a section of it. Maybe this cardboard isn't the best for it. But you can sort of just like flatten it out until it's sort of like very thin. So that it doesn't like pop out a bunch under the fabric that we're gonna add. Just add a dot of hot glue on the forehead and a dot on the tip of the nose. And hold up. Just sort of let that be, push in a little bit to make sure that it's sort of more of a crescent rather than a straight line, because there are no straight lines in nature, guys. Whoa, that's crazy. And then just sort of connect it all the way down. I don't know. That's what I do. All of this will be like covered up with fabric, so you won't really notice the fact that it's hollow right here unless you like cut into the fabric, which is weird. Why would you do that? I don't know. I would not judge, I guess, I suppose. All right, now we've got our mask base except for the ears. And the ears are objectively one of the hardest parts for me, at least. Just cause they're a little tricky to figure out. So you're gonna wanna get like a good ear photo of your animal. For example, this is a very good one. You have the full like effect of the ears, and you might also want like a side profile, which would also be very useful because then you get like how deep does the ear go, how flat are they, like what's the shape on the side, you know? You're gonna want that. That's very important. So baby's ears are sort of like a triangle. They're really just a triangle. This is when you're gonna need your craft foam. Ignore how just floppy it is. Just ignore how ugly it is, alright? She doesn't need to be judged. But so basically I've just drawn a rough sketch. You're gonna wanna make them wider if you wanna make them 3D. Because you're gonna have to get that like curve effect, if you will. And then the cut will always be more of like a circular bottom. And you're probably gonna wanna make it a little taller than you really need to, because you can always trim it down, but you can't really add more without it looking a little interesting, you know? So after that, you're gonna wanna make sure that it works with your base, and you're gonna wanna see about placement. So for my cat, it's sort of like over to the side, and if you look at the eye, it ends right where this eye sort of stops. So sort of like that. Then, once you have the right pattern, you just want to trace it out. But this time you're going to want to flip it upside down so that it's opposite ways. Yay! I totally forgot. But, so once you have that pattern, glue them on. And they're silly and flexy, and you're just sort of gonna want to look at your reference image again, and you're gonna want to like cross-check it. Like, for example, I needed to cut a little bit off this side because it just didn't look like the cat ears. So now I have cat base, and she is ready for fabricking. So that's how you make a cat mask base. I'll probably have like a part 2 because I don't have enough time for like the rest of this video tonight, and I'll do felting and the rest of the painting process another day. So thank you for watching. Lock in for part 2. I will see you very soon. Bye!